Adam Bierman, Breathing with Bierman, another mega show. Loren has promised me. My ego is getting bigger, thanks to Loren, because we've been getting so many hits. He gets these guests, Facebook Live, and everything. And then I go around in my little world. I'm kind of getting like people are like, "This is a guy who gets these Facebook hits." They want to shake my hand, and they want to.
It's either that or it's just the way he dressed. I can't tell.
The way I dress, and so anyway, my head's gotten really big, and I think I'm great, and I'm cool. It's all my idea. I mean, my name's on the show, so don't And I think a good scenario would be that I get jealous of you, and I try to like screw you over at the same time and take all the credit.
It's the film business.
Yeah, Art the Clown, or I love your name. You sound like you should be. You are from the South originally.
I am, yes.
No, I just forgot it. David Howard Thornton.
Why don't you read what you got there? Then hand the puck over.
David Howard Thornton, voiceover specialist, actor, IMDb. Check his IMDb credits. And with all this talent and with his verbal acuity, you play, and I think it's somewhat terrifying, a clown, mute clown in The Terrifier, as we see in the back here. You should see it. Where can we see it again?
Oh, wow. You can see it all over the place right now. We just recently got released on Redbox, so you can go and hopefully it's in stock. I've been understanding they've been running out a lot recently, so that's great. But we're also on most on-demand, like Vudu, Amazon, PlayStation Network, Xbox, all that fun stuff. So, and you can also buy us on Blu-ray combo pack on Amazon. You can go basically to dreadcentral.com, and they'll give you all that information.
And you're a pretty good actor, though, too, because I saw. But you come here, and you're almost like you're serene, almost a scholar and intellectual. Then you play this sociopath. Oh my God!
As you do. It's always the quiet ones you got to watch out for.
Acting. So, is this guy going to help you quit your day job?
We hope so. It's like we are here live on a Friday night at Princeton Television.
Oh, we're going to go next month Wednesday, Lawrence.
Yes. We move in. We'll be dropping that in a short bit, but. When it comes to someone like me who makes my own films and, any of the independent actors, I mean, you're working a day job and then you go to work. Then you go to your real work, which takes up so much of your time. So, such as the film that you hear me constantly plug, The Dark Military, as you have to come out, you're hoping when it hits Adam's in it too. But you're hoping when it hits that you don't have to work your day job. And this film here, Terrifier, which he stars in, I don't even know if you want to call it an independent horror film anymore because I think it broke through.
Yeah.
Especially with congratulations, and especially say hi to Damien for a second there.
Hi, Damien.
Yeah, we should have had you, but he has to work a real world job too.
And if you want to be on this famous show, put me in one of your movies. It's quid pro quo, right?
Yes. Yeah. But it's great.
He wasn't very convincing when he said that. Thanks, Lauren.
But really, the review after review. I mean, every time you turn around, and it's all over Redbox.
It is. I agree. This is like a great. It might be a little better than Dark Military.
Well, as it is right now, because Dark Military can't fight because it's not released.
Okay.
But I've always said I hate when they hit the reboot button. I hate the constant remakes, especially in the horror department. Here is something completely original. It's on fire, and even Kerry Kings from Slayer is a proof of that. Because last week, Kerry Kings from Slayer, his birthday cake, who was on the cake?
Me?
Yeah. And now you have his phone number.
Yeah, it's crazy. God, I was like, a little nerd from Alabama is on like a rock legend, like metal legends like birthday cake. It's like, is this my life?
And now you're also, go ahead. You're starting to get called for the conventions now.
Yeah, I'm starting to do all these conventions.
Too. Yeah.
I could see anyone into the horror thing would love this character and want to meet the person behind you and everything.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy. It's just like I never expected this. I mean, we had hoped for this success, but we didn't really expect it. I guess we're like pessimistic optimists or something.
In this business, you have to always try to be rationally pessimistic, though.
Yeah, you really do, because we had no idea. We didn't even know if this was actually going to be released to the public, because like we had a hard time getting this out there to the public because it's so violent and gory. We actually had shopped it to different distribution places, and they wanted to put it in the some of them wanted to put it in mainstream theaters nationwide, but they wanted to do massive cuts to the film. especially one infamous scene that's
Yes.
in the film. And
But it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
Well, people can handle it.
well, that's the thing, though. It's just like
they were trying to water you down to PG-13
Yeah, they were trying- yeah.
almost.
Oh, why?
Exactly.
Do they think more people will go to see
Yeah.
the film?
Yeah.
Or, but you get enough people. R ratings doesn't kill a film anymore, does it?
Not really. I mean, I think like you look at the success of like Deadpool and Wolverine and stuff like that
Yeah.
recently, where they have done great job bringing in people. It's because-
13-year-olds go with their older brothers
Yeah.
and sisters. They
Well,
get
that
in.
was part of the fun back in the '80s when I was growing up. Was sneaking into these because it was like, ooh, forbidden. I shouldn't be watching this. And
Yeah.
it's
Right,
like,
right.
that's
Freddy Krueger. So you saw Freddy Krueger and stuff like
Oh
that.
God, yes.
So what you're having a rough. Let's take it back. So you're having a rough time getting this out. What was the turning point? Like, did you kind of notice, like, what did it?
What did it was Uncle Creepy, Steve from Dread Central Productions. He had seen our film and he fell in love with it. He's like, he calls up Damien. It's like, I want to get this out there to the world. This needs to be seen by the masses, because before that, Damien was about to just go self-distribution, which would have been really hard for him. And Steve came in and basically saved it. All the people at Dread Central, they had faith in us, and hey, let's get this out there to the public. And I think it's done amazingly well. Especially, I don't think anybody was expecting it to take off the way it has.
It's selling on Redbox and everything.
Yeah,
else.
it's what's been weird about it is we still haven't gotten a lot of mainstream press coverage. We're starting to now, but like when we first released, leading up to the release, we weren't getting a lot of that kind of coverage. It was like through all the different like independent horror sites, the fan sites that were, that we were doing interviews with, and so they were the ones getting the word out. So really, what has given this film success has been the fans themselves. They have gotten out there and they have spread the word, and it's taking off by storm right now. We just, I think, recently got distribution out in Italy.
Oh wow!
And we're going international now with like UK. I think Tokyo has like Hong Kong, stuff like that. Australia, maybe not Tokyo. We'll get there eventually.
So that was all through Dread Central.
Dread Central, and then also UK distribution. They met up with them, Signature Entertainment, so they just started getting it out there, and it's just snowballing from there. And then when you have people like Carrie King putting on their birthday cake, that helps us get out there even more.
That was a lot of press I saw last week.
Yeah, it's been nuts. It's been nuts. Now I'm just waiting for my Funko Pop figure.
That's right.
What about the paycheck? How does that work?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how that goes with the sequel.
That's where you could cash in if things keep going this way.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's like
hopefully there'll be money thrown at everyone for that.
Yeah, we were very low budget, so it was like basically everybody worked on this for very little pay.
And you said you filmed in Trenton mostly?
Filmed in Trenton for a little bit, and then we also filmed out in Long Island, also Staten Island. For different.
So the process of that,
pieces.
we talked about that earlier, but how long of the shoot was it?
Well, originally it was supposed to be about 6 weeks, but we had some setbacks, as what happens, especially on independent films, and so it ended up being like a year and a half it took to film everything, because after we had a rough cut of it, we took it to Telluride Horror Festival, I think 2016, and we got some great feedback at that, and we realized let's put a little bit more into this, so we added some extra kills into the film, and helped clarify a few things there. And,
But one thing, your loquacious character, how did you kind of get into this role of being mute? And how do you get thespian, so to speak?
Oh, well, I based my performance off the original actor that played Art. Actually, you just saw him right there. Is Mike Gianelli. He played him for the character back in the short film Terrifier and also All Hallows Eve. And he didn't come back for this, unfortunately, for him, but unfortunately for me.
Yes.
So yeah, but so I did a lot. Like I watched his performance here, and gave me a lot of inspiration where Art was supposed to go, and I took that, and then I was like, okay, so he's a silent character. Everything has to be, there's a lot of clowning involved, so you have to delve into that type of acting. And I was like, well, what's the best point of reference for this? And I'm like, well, I went back and looked at the old silent films like Chaplin, Buster Keaton, even like Marx Brothers, like Harpo Marx was a big influence for me. Also, I looked. I grew up as a big, huge fan of Mr. Bean. my aunt gave me a whole.
Or the English guy, Ronan.
Oh yes, he's wonderful,
Amazing,
great physical
Right,
comedian.
right.
And so I watched a whole I grew up on watching the box set of those videos back when I was a teenager, and even back then I started incorporating a lot of that kind of physical comedy into what I did as an actor growing up doing children's theater back home in Huntsville. And
you did children's theater
I
in
did.
Alabama?
I did a whole lot of children's theater.
I don't know if they're gonna want you back.
No.
You didn't get the cheerleaders on Friday night.
Oh
though.
no! I was always this funny sidekick, and now look at me. So doing this.
And when you found out about this film, art doesn't speak. So
Yeah.
there's probably a part of you like, cool, I don't have to know any lines.
Oh, I know that was the nice part.
but the other part probably had to
You
be
got to
as an
carry the film though.
it almost puts more pressure on you because because your body language has to sell everything.
Oh, exactly. Because as an actor, my skill set that I've thought was my strongest bit about myself as an actor is my voice. I do over 200 voices.
Yeah, you're Mel Blanc.
Yeah,
Mel Blanc
exactly.
from everything.
He was my big source of inspiration as a kid, and I wanted to be like him. I still want to be like the voice of Bugs Bunny one day. But that was my skill set. Every role I've played on stage and wherever else where I've spoken, I have tried to do a totally different voice for every character I've played. Oh. So Damien took away my biggest skill set with this. It's like,
unless you want to do Art the Clown meets Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
And you could do the voice of the Bugs.
I like that it really was this silent though, because even when your character was struck in any way, you didn't grunt or nothing. I loved that. That was really cool.
I intentionally tried
Jason
to do
in
that.
it too, even though you're not as psycho.
Right.
Even though clowns can be, you think clowns can be intrinsically evil? I don't.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, you look at the Joker. There you go.
Right,
It's just
right.
like
The face. Is it that dichotomy though of the Joker's? But your clown is supposed to be happy, but at the same time, this is.
But I think that's what makes it really interesting.
I think Art is happy.
Oh yeah, he's having a blast. It's just like, yeah, look at this. He's getting ahead in life.
He's over his head.
How's the fan base been towards this reaching out to you as a person, saying?
Oh, it's been great. It's just like it's kind of overwhelming in a lot of ways too, because it's like
Are you being stalked or something? Or any
probably
groupies who love you?
Yeah, I have
come
some.
clean at them.
No, I for the most part they've been pretty cool. So yeah. I've.
But how do they reach you? They get your email,
usually
or so they show up on your
Instagram, like Facebook, Twitter, and stuff like that. So I try to interact as much as I can.
That's important, but you gotta, I guess, watch out. You don't want to do it too much.
Yeah, I've learned that too. I've learned that because I've always been a personal guy, and so I'm like it's weird, but it's like it's gotten a little bit overwhelming at times where I get home and I have like tons of messages on like Facebook, and I'm like, oh God, I just want to go to bed. But
I'm your best friend, dude.
Yeah. I at least want to try to at least say hi or something like that to everybody, because I'm like, like I said earlier, it is the fans that have gotten this out there.
And a personal touch like that can go a long way and everything.
Yeah, but
again, you don't want anyone in a clown outfit waiting for you by your doorstep.
No, I've learned that I can't give out my address because I have a lot of people like, hey, can I get autographs and stuff like that? I'm like, I don't have a system for that yet. I haven't really thought that far ahead.
It's kind of exciting, though. This is like the beginning of what becomes something even bigger. Then you'll never come on this show again. But it's cool.
Cash in while we can.
Exactly.
Were you actually like? It's okay. I don't think you hurt anyone's feelings. But were you actually a horror fan growing up at all?
I was, but I was a little bit late to the game because growing up, my mom was really afraid of horror films, and because of that. That kind of impacted me for the longest time.
She wouldn't let you watch them, or she just wanted them in the house.
Oh, she just hated. She was very easily scared. Like the original Fall of the House of Usher scared the crap out of my mom.
The Vincent Price.
Vincent Price. Right. That when I watched that like a few years ago, I was like, this is what scared her. It's like that's okay, thank you. But it wasn't until like my senior year of high school, back when like Scream 2 came out, which kind of dates me, But my a lot of my friends, we finished up a show that night. They're like, hey, let's go out and see Scream 2. And it was as a group. And they're like, Dave, come on. I'm like, I okay. And I'll suffer. And I had a blast watching that. I was sitting just laughing my head off. I had so much fun watching everybody else scream their heads off and everything. And I was like, this is more fun. I like this. And after that, I kind of just started like binge watching horror films. Especially when I got to college, my roommate and I would go down to like local movie gallery and just rent a whole stack of tapes and just that whole weekend just watch them all.
What, from the 20s on up? Or something?
Yeah, more from like I would say the 70s on. Yeah, it's like especially like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all those. It was just like Omen, all that. It was just.
The first Omen was pretty
good.
Oh
God, yeah, that's one of my favorites. That was so good.
I've always said I don't think a horror person makes it until a horror convention calls them. Yeah. And it's happened to you. You have a few of them coming up, right?
I have a few. My first one's starting up in next month in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm going to Mad Monster Party, which is going to be epic because it's they're bringing Damien out there with me, and he's going to make me up in my makeup, which takes about 4 hours to put on. So I'm going to be doing photo ops with everybody, but the big draw, because at first he was kind of hesitant because he usually doesn't want me to appear in public as art. He wants to differentiate between the actor and the character. He would like more like the fans show up as art. Yeah. But this one is because they were saying, well, we're bringing Tom Savini out here to make up Kane Hodder as Jason, and we're bringing out Robert Englund and all these.
Robert Englund,
yeah, they're bringing him out. Tyler Mane, like the one that.
He's Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, it's like all the legends, like Andy from Child's Play. It's like the lineup they have.
He's in the Dark Military.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm in the Dark Military.
So it's like we couldn't turn that down.
That's what I'm all hoping for in the end when my film's released. I'm hoping to get the conventions to be those. I'll take that format. Yeah. That's a beautiful format. And congratulations.
I'm just honored. It's an absolute because they have the legends of horror coming out to this thing. And here we are, this small little independent horror film, and they want us to be a part
Are they
of it.
paying you to go out there, and they're going to pay you for you going to pay money for each picture taken?
I am.
Anyone pays you for that talent.
It's weird.
They're paying you for what you did and everything. Yeah. That's cherished. Then they want you.
And I just think that's great because I just feel because I'm a guy that lives at conventions all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I'm the one who did.
I've always wanted to be on that side.
I've always wanted to be on that side.
Yeah.
But I'd never want to call the convention and be like, "Did you ever hear of me?"
Yeah.
Like you don't want to do that. You want them to call you. And
that's a horror.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like between
desperate.
Between Damien,
But people want to pay you for being art.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm saying between Damien creating Art the Clown, Dark Military, and the characters I'm bringing, you're trying to bring new life so we don't have to constantly see the reset button hit. And I'm so glad you guys broke through.
Yeah.
Because we finally got somebody new.
Yeah,
because
you know
it's
what?
Like they just keep hitting that restart button.
Well, it's safe. It's safe.
It's totally safe because it's already a built. It's an already built project. But we got Jamie Lee coming back to fight Michael Myers. This happened 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We've seen
Not
this
many
again.
sequels can be amazing. Yeah,
no, it's just like there's a certain time where I just feel the characters have gone as far as they could go. Yeah. They need to be shelved, and I'm just glad, your character and Damien. I'm so glad that it worked out, and I'm hoping it happens for my film and everybody else that's trying to bring new light to this.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring new life, especially to the genre itself. It's like, because I know there's one kill that happens in the movie where people got upset with us because they're like, "Oh, you broke the slasher code." I'm like, we didn't break the code. We kind of revolutionized the code.
So what was the kill for the audience?
It involves a gun.
Yes.
And it's
I did see that. Yeah.
And I said I was happy with that.
Yeah.
What was the rule on that? Who made up the rule?
But it's not like he's going around just shooting everybody willy-nilly. This is something my character uses as a last-ditch effort. That's his contingency
That's interesting.
plan.
Yeah, I did see it. And also we don't have rigid dogma. You can't talk down to your fans, but I can because I'm not getting paid. Don't be such dorks, okay? So they cross the Rubicon and your Old Testament feelings about slash. You're from the South. You understand? And stuff. So cracker. I don't.
It's like saying that. It's just like, oh, don't go up in the woods to that cabin. Something bad happened there, and they go anyway. Or this is a haunted house that you shouldn't go in there, and they go in it anyway. You want to say breaking the rules?
Yeah.
how many times are you going to see that recycling? So what? They tried something different. It worked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah. It depends how it takes off.
But we do have our cliches in there and
Yes,
stuff
you
like that.
did.
Because this is a love
Every-
letter.
it was.
You're paying homage.
Yes, and that's what this is. This is
homage.
this is a homage
Yes.
to like the slasher genre in itself. It's like, because I know another criticism we've gotten is like there's very little plot. I'm like, duh. It's like, go back and like, but look at the original slasher films too, especially like the Friday the 13th
But
movies.
you still wanted to watch what happened.
Yeah.
You still, it was still a roller coaster ride, and you wanted to see who was going to get it coming up.
And with that too, it's All Hallows Eve and the Terrifier. You know there's more coming.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's like I've already announced the Dark Railroad up front. 1, 2, and 3. We got a trilogy. I don't have to. We don't have to explain everything in one shebang.
And there's something, one thing I like, which is repeated. What is it? Is it omnipotent? What is there that it seems indestructible? We get its comeuppance.
Yeah.
And it just continues on. It's like diabolical path, though.
And I think in a way in this movie you see a little bit of art's true origin that happens, especially near the end of the movie.
That's always important.
Yeah.
And then people are invested in the character and start thinking about it and talking about it. And
yeah, exactly.
And then you can go on discussions and promote it by discussions and everything.
Yeah.
I'm getting upset. He's getting paid. That's the horror. You want to hear the horror? I'm not getting paid for this.
You want to hear horror? People pay to see the Fast and the Furious films. I don't get it. That's a real horror movie.
I know. I mean, I'm gonna segue away and be snooty for a second. My wife, I'm gonna go wherever she works. Some people are like they paid for tickets 10 weeks in advance for Fast and Furious 7. I mean, what the hell? It's
Vroom, vroom. I
yeah.
don't get that. I don't get
It's
the
gonna be
intelligent level.
Yeah, it's going to be on HBO in 5 weeks, whatever. It's going to be in
And they all make $200,000. So
Yeah.
the
worldwide
what is our
audience,
opinions don't matter.
worldwide audience, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, again, but it goes well. Oh, what about you? Your IMDb, though, we can go back to the essential art. So you did children's theater, didn't you?
I did.
So did you get your ass kicked by jocks in high school? Just
Oh no, yeah. I was definitely like bullied a lot, especially in middle school. I mean, because I was actually a very short, little nerdy kid. I didn't hit puberty until later on.
Wow.
And so I was
When's
like
your
this
high school reunion because you could.
That's this
dress
year,
up
actually. My
that-
20-year
you should
reunion
dress
is this
up
year.
and
I
go
know.
back in.
I'm very tempted to. Like, hello.
I read something sad. I mean, and interesting though, you were thinking of getting a stable job and teach. Your mom died, and you said, "Fuck this. Maybe I should do my life. What I want."
Yeah.
Why your mother's death? Life is short, or your mom?
Yeah, that was actually our last like conversation with each other. Was just like she
kind of gave her blessing. Like,
yeah, she told me in her own way. It's like, look, you have certain gifts that you were born with that it would be a shame not to utilize. And it's like, don't do what you think you have to do with your life.
Right.
Do what you want to do with your life, because you only get
it's
one.
a very
shot
simple
at this.
distinction, but she was saying don't do the practical thing because you have talent.
Yeah,
She wasn't like
that's what
blowing
I was
smoke
trying-
up your. But
No, she was
she
totally
thought you had
not.
talent and everything.
But she didn't want to tell me what to do with my life.
Right,
And it wasn't until like a year later that I was in my internship in the schools, and I
wants
almost
to do that. Yeah.
I basically
That's
had a
hard too.
Oh yeah, well I almost had a nervous breakdown basically. It was because like the month I went back to college to do my internship, like in a month's time my dog died, my grandmother died, I had a friend commit suicide, and my
God.
sister married a homeless man. And I'm
Your
like,
sister married a homeless man?
yeah, that's my
He's
sister.
got an interesting family. That's the show happening.
Oh yeah, and so my whole brain's like, oh, I was just like spiraling down, and I was like, I'm not happy. What's going to make me happy? And I had that epiphany one day doing story time with my students, doing all little voices and stuff like that, and I'm like, I enjoy entertaining my students, entertaining people more than I do teaching them. Maybe that's what I truly need to do with my life. And I call my dad up and like, hey, Dad, this is what's going on. And I was expecting, because my dad's a NASA engineer, very practical. Pragmatic
What's
man.
the bottom line? Can you actually support yourself doing this?
Exactly.
What are you going to be going through?
And that's the exact conversation I was expecting.
And then you're homeless after.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no. Total opposite happened. He's like, yeah, your mom and I always thought that's what you needed to do with your life. We just didn't want to tell you.
No, I mean, you became homeless because you became an actor. So what happened? So how did you start paying the rent then?
I just I lived with my dad for about a year or so after that. Yeah, because I just want to make sure he wasn't on his. Also, he couldn't function on his own.
Oh, okay.
He's a NASA engineer. The engineer. We have a joke in my hometown. It's like, oh, they're engineers. Like engineers are they're so. My mom would say he's so smart, he's stupid.
Mm-hmm. And he's so focused on what he's doing.
Yeah, and they just everything else about life they don't
The
understand.
practical day-to-day stuff he needs.
Yeah, when he met my stepmom, I'm like, okay, now he has someone to take care of him.
And he can go out and think about things and not worry about the plumbing.
That's when you jumped to New York?
That's when I jumped to New York. I was like, okay, I'm going to come up
and
here.
What roles were you getting? What were you doing first?
I started off just doing, oddly enough, my first job here, I got like a week or two. It was for this, it's called Voice Asia. I don't know if it still exists, but it was for like I was basically like the Verizon guy for like South Korea, China, and Japan.
Can you do some of the voices?
I just did Voice Asia. And they had little things. It was like little.
Wasn't cultural appropriation or anything?
No, because it was weird, but it was like
Voice Asia.
Yeah, it was like they did other stuff, and I was like Voice Asia. That was like the tagline for it. So it's like this is weird.
And you got paid.
I got paid for it, and then I did like a little theater here and there, and I toured for 5 years with
you have talent. You worked. You got jobs.
I did. I kept working, but I did anything. I wasn't trying to limit myself.
Yeah, and to top it all up, you're in New York. You know you have to have roommates. You know, no matter what, you're not really financially set because it's New York.
Yeah, still waited tables too. I still wait tables, unfortunately. Which is kind of weird. Where I'm like, people have tattoos
for them.
People have tattoos.
Yeah, people have tattoos of me, but let me take off this extra
people
inch
have
of you.
tattoos of you. Right?
Yeah, it's weird.
You keep on forgetting it's a weird. I mean, Kevin Bacon after Animal House, he wanted to make sure his waiter job was still waiting for him.
He quit the night. He quit the night of the premiere. He walked out. He kept saying like, "I'm too good. You have no idea what's about to happen." Yeah. He walked out. He didn't say he quit. But he just walked out. He went to the premiere. He couldn't get in because he didn't like really have like like he kept saying I'm in the movie and they're like stay on that side, stay outside. Like, so the cast came by and said him too. They let him through and he thought girls, press media, and all they were doing was paying attention to Belushi and all. And he was left out. So at the end he was still too young. He couldn't go to the after party. He humbly walked back and just picked up his apron and went right back to work the same night.
That's
how it goes.
He probably got paid once. I think that movie was made on a small budget. In Oregon, Astoria, University of Oregon.
Even Karen Allen said like she did that movie and then she went and did The Wanderers and she kept saying I'm in this movie called Animal House. I'm in this movie called, but you have to wait a year for it to come out. So she's just waiting. Yeah. She's still struggling, waiting as in hopes, which it did, and it helped her catapult her. But you're just stuck. You're waiting. Yeah. It doesn't happen overnight.
So you still waiter?
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah.
And if you get a bad tip the next time, do you come back in a diabolical?
I would love to.
No.
How did you find out about the role?
I found out about the role, oddly enough, just through Actors Access, which is like an actor's website.
Yes. You actually get jobs on that?
Yeah, I did.
And Backstage is the main two.
Yeah, just I saw the posting for it because I needed a tall, skinny guy that had like physical comedy or
How many other people showed up? Do you know?
I have no idea. I showed up there, but they didn't give me a script or anything because Art doesn't talk. But I'm in the room, and there are all these other people there that had scripts for auditioning for other roles, and I'm like, am I missing out here? And I go in the room, I'm like, so, what do you want me to do? And they're like, just come up with a scene where you just behead a guy. And I'm like, oh, well, can I have a few minutes just to think of something? Like, no, just do it. Do it off the top of your head. So I'm like, oh, okay, great. Okay, here we go. And I just like came up with a scene. Thank God I have improv training. Thank God I have improv training. And just came up with a scene where I like skip in and like cartoonishly sneak up behind a guy, knock him in the head, have my bag of stuff, and I take out a hacksaw. Mimed all of this and sawed off the guy's head.
And you kind of tilted your head?
Yeah, doing all those, be quiet and all that kind of stuff, and pick up the head. I'm like, So I take out a salt shaker, season it. I'm like,
you're mocking him.
It's like, you taste good. Throw them in the bag for a snack for later, sling it over my shoulder, and I skipped out of there. And I think that's what booked it.
You got a call later? Or
they just started laughing right there. They're like, so you want to come in for a makeup test? Funny enough.
Did half the budget go to the makeup?
I would think so, yeah. And Damien did actually all the makeup himself, too.
How many hours again was that?
That was about 4 hours.
And they took it off at the end of the day?
That was another hour. But sometimes, it would depend because since Damien was doing the makeup, he would sometimes have to leave me to go set up shots or go film. So I would sometimes be there for like 8 hours just sitting in the chair, waiting for it to all be finished.
That's another part of acting, though. Can you be ready to do your part and act and get their character?
Yeah.
You sit there, probably stifling.
Oh yeah.
What time are you? What season was this when you were?
This
filming?
was fall winter. So
okay,
it was
so I've
cold.
experienced. Yeah, so the warehouse was that just
Very
freezing?
cold. We had no heat there. We just had little heat lamps, and it was. We
gosh.
had no running water in that building, so we had to go out there to like. Oh boy, oh boy!
Yeah.
It's like we had like a little porta potty outside that we'd have to go, so it'd be freezing cold out there, and. Oh, the one that had it worse was poor Catherine, though, for her infamous hacksaw scene. It's just
Those
like,
women were pretty hot, though, too. You got some hot actresses,
Yeah,
which is always sex appeal and death. Is always
but they're
a turn
just
on.
beautiful on the inside too.
Oh,
like
stop.
both
Who
of
cares
No,
about
I'm
that?
serious.
Yes.
I don't care.
I actually-
we were in a Me Too moment.
No, I'm serious though. I'm like, I have all the
How
respect
are
in
they
the world.
beautiful
for
on
them.
the inside? What they
They are
suffered
just-
with
It means
for
like
their
as a
art?
person.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
They're just awesome. They just kick-ass ladies. Every single.
You're really
yeah.
like a metrosexual. I mean, you're a great actor. You're an evil killer.
You
but
didn't have
you're
any like the
sensitive.
torpedo heaters maybe kind of going in her
He's going
direction
back to
for that
torpedo
one
her.
scene? During that one scene, like
Is that like a metaphor?
Oh.
Such a metaphor?
you know, she was,
Oh, for that scene, no, we didn't because
she
we
just
could-
had to eat it.
Yeah. She and that was in January when we filmed that, and it was about 20 degrees that
Bless
night.
her. Yeah.
And she had to be in that position, naked, with blood going down
Naked?
her.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was
And that-
freezing
And
cold.
I'm sure that scene wasn't over with in a matter of 5
No,
minutes.
we would only let her hang upside down for like 30 seconds at a time
Uh-huh.
because we didn't want her to get hurt or
Yeah.
anything like that. And so we had an apparatus built so we could sling her back up,
Right.
let her rest and everything. But still, she even got sick after that because all the
You get
blood
Blood,
constantly
yeah.
going.
Ugh.
I mean,
Well,
she went
Yogi
through
said
hell.
it's good to be. Oh, I guess you can stand on your head, but not, I guess, suspended in air. It's probably
Yeah.
not good and everything.
Yeah, it was just the
She
constant
could
up
get
and down.
pneumonia too.
Yeah,
If you're naked.
she got pneumonia, I think, too.
Oh my
She
God!
got sick.
Talk about giving up for your
Yeah.
art.
Yeah.
Oh, even before this, when they made the
She looks
full
like Neve
body
Campbell a little bit.
cast.
A little bit like Neve Campbell.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, she
Jenna,
definitely
yeah.
does, yeah.
But they made a full body cast of her, and they forgot to put the releasing agent on it, so she got stuck in the mold
Jesus
too. So
Christ.
Catherine went through all kinds of hell for this. But I'm like,
Okay.
she's our MVP, I would say. It's just like,
Really?
What were the two main actresses? Were they from New York?
Jenna lives down in Atlanta still,
Okay.
but Catherine and Samantha live here in New York as well.
Okay.
So yeah,
And they did a great job.
Yeah. I mean, they could scream the whole.
Oh, yeah.
You think they're actually scared sometimes, though?
I don't know. You would have to ask them.
Yeah.
How did you actually find out Carrie King's from Slayer? Like, how did you get it to you? How did the information lay in your lap? That
Oh,
the cake
gosh.
of you?
It was one of his friends. His friend said, "Hey, he contacted me on Instagram. He's like, hey, his birthday's tomorrow. It'll be awesome. He's a huge fan of yours. Here's his number. Send him a text and wish him happy birthday." I'm like, hell yes, I will. And then he sent me the picture of himself with the cake, and everyone like, oh my god,
Wow.
dude.
That's so...
Who is this guy, Carrie King Slayer?
He's like the
group
guitar,
Slayer?
Yeah, the
yeah,
band Slayer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The band. See, I kept on thinking
Yeah.
the band. I thought it was like a movie.
Yeah.
No.
yeah,
Wow, the guy. Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Slayer.
That was big publicity last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Huge
Whoa.
publicity for this movie.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay, that's what you're talking about.
yeah, yeah.
Slayer's still very big. Oh
Yeah, it's
my
a-
God! So he's into. He's probably write a song about you.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Death metal, something.
Yeah.
They did- yeah.
Well,
This is their final tour. Maybe
Yeah.
they can do one more album.
Yeah, who knows? Well, Paul Wiley from Marilyn Manson actually did all of our music for the film too.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone with Marilyn knows the dark side in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah. So it's just it's kind of sweet. It's just like
Good. Damien's got some good ties. That's good.
yeah. It's unexpected, but it's pretty freaking sweet.
What about my acting charisma? Are you feeling it?
Oh yeah, I could definitely kill you.
I love it. He wants me to shut up.
Yeah, well, I think we've done Archer put on the shirt. It's all of the bad shirts.
Oh yes,
Tie.
yes.
This is it's just a marketing tool. So,
Great tablecloth.
And you took some of my questions with the tough filming at night. Yeah, we
Oh,
discussed that one.
Go through the check.
Are you going to be art again?
Oh,
you want to
definitely,
be?
definitely. We were definitely
What
have
makes
sequels.
clowns creepy? Well, they've been creepy throughout centuries.
Well, I think what that is more is because they walk that fine line of the uncanny valley where they're human but also inhuman at the same time because of the exaggerated movements and like makeup and costumes and stuff like that. So they're that kind of unnerves people, I think.
Okay, I go to the streets of Princeton and have people ask their own questions. So you get into street vibes.
Oh, nice.
Some comment. This is still a salient question, though. Did you ever go crazy playing crazy people? Do you go home with a character, or you're like a method actor from it, or something?
No, I didn't have
fear that you might kill somebody.
No, I didn't go full Leto, so. No. I've always been the type where I can just turn it on, turn it off as soon as I need to.
So you're more British,
Yeah.
No method. There's no method here.
Nah, it's like, but I won't, knock anybody that does it. So it's like you do what you got to do, whatever gets you into the, And if I like none of the girls in this, no one else was really method. So it's like, but if they were needing me to give them certain things, yeah, sure, I can do that.
This is from Judith in Princeton. Did the director give you leeway to develop the characters he saw fit, even during filming? He did.
That was what was fun about this. Is like sometimes Damien had everything down to a T, even like which way he wanted my head to turn for something,
really,
or like the look he wanted.
Chaplin
on my face.
was like that. They said.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually
knew what he wanted for certain bits. Like when I unload the gun at Jenna and stuff like that, he was very specific. It's like I want no emotion, nothing. You just dead eyes, all that. I'm like, cool. But then like other scenes, like the diner scene where I'm making all the faces and stuff like that, or like when I'm my Buffalo Bill scene, he just gave me free range to just play around and see what I came up with, and he would just let the camera roll. Like the Buffalo Bill scene, we actually did 2 different takes of that, where the other version I had like the baby doll, and I was using the baby doll to help me find the girl, and the baby doll was talking to me. I was doing some puppetry with it and stuff. So it was, it's fun. It's like I think that's how Damien and I work really well with each other. It's like we have that mutual respect in each other's abilities, so we can I know.
So he's confident.
Yeah, he's confident. We're both confident in each other. So it's like.
Can you do a Mr. Rogers impersonation? This is my question. What would Mr. Rogers say if he met Arthur Clown?
He'll probably bring out the middle finger routine again. Of like, where is?
He's gonna go like, isn't it nice, Papa?
Yeah.
Your anger.
It's like, it's like here.
I watched as Damien as a director. How much? I mean, he probably took a lot of bullets getting this film together. I mean, between working his real world job and. You said the location.
He sacrificed a lot.
And in the location, you said you had some problems with that. I mean, he went through a lot for you guys. Huh?
He did. He really did. But he and our producers, everybody involved with them, there was a lot of sacrifices people had to make just to get it made.
And the southern accent's starting to come.
Oh, there it comes out at times.
They were terrible. Yeah, because.
So and when you're doing any research or add-on, you got to cart all that stuff from New York back over here. Right?
We had times where like the cars would break down, and we're like, oh God! And it was the one night where it's like pouring rain, and like one of the cars broke down and had all the equipment in it. We're like, oh God!
Were you in Trenton at this time? Perry? No.
We were actually in New Jersey, but not in Trenton. I can't remember where it was, but it was like, oh God, how are we going to get all this stuff?
And you had to work the next day, your day job?
Yeah. But we ended up making it. We just ended up having to carry things back and forth. And yeah, I think that we also ended up almost having to push the car there. It was just like we were just following the cars going very slowly because it was start and stop. It was like,
and it was over a year.
Yeah.
So you had also not so much you, but your female actors had to keep the same appearance that they couldn't change
continuity,
their
look. Right.
Yeah. Luckily, for a lot of that, we had finished a lot of their scenes. Like Jenna, she ended up having to film we did all of her stuff first because she had to.
Atlanta?
Yes, because she went to go film the Bye Bye Man the week after we were done with her. So she literally left us, and 2 days later was starting to film Bye Bye Man. So we did all of her stuff, but we actually brought in a body double for her for one part and stuff like that too, just because we just need a dead body there and someone that could fit. But yeah. But other than that, it was I guess with Samantha and stuff like that, they just kept the same hair length and stuff like that.
The location, the warehouse, was there Was it so far deep back that you could actually technically be shooting in the daytime, or were there windows like you only could shoot at night?
Yeah, we could only shoot at night. So everything was night shoots.
Yeah.
Wow, and then you went to work.
Yeah, we would sometimes have to race the sun, which was a pain.
And we did too. We did the same thing. So yeah, I know what that's
What
like.
about the police? You never have any permits for some of these places?
Yeah, well, I don't know. But there was one night where police did arrive on set, though, and that's I think that like my favorite story that ever happened on set was like it was when we were shooting in Trenton. And it's like they were filming a scene with Jenna and I think, and I'm sitting there just waiting in the room, and I hear this argument happening outside the window, and so I'm watching the argument. I forget what I looked like because I was already in full makeup. I had blood all over me, everything like that, and these two women out there arguing, and one of them looks up and sees this clown, and I stupid me, I was like, hi. Take off running, and about 15 minutes later, Damien and Phil, our producer, come in. Dave. So we have some friends out here we want you to meet, but don't come out till we tell you to. So I'm like, okay, cool. So there's like this big roll-up garage door and stuff like that. So I'm on the other side just like, okay, what's going on? Have no idea what I'm about to encounter. And they're like, Dave, come out. So I roll up the garage door, and I see about 10 to 15 of Trenton's finest out there in like full riot gear.
Jesus.
Wow.
They're like ready to go to war. And I'm like,
the camera should have been rolling for that.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, what's up, guys?
They shot him.
Yeah. And they just die laughing. They're like, oh, man.
You probably made their day. They see so much crap have to do with
Yeah, they're like, we would have shot you on sight if you came out first.
Wow.
I'm like, I believe
it. I was a freak show coming out.
You.
So they were putting the fire out and saying, like, a joke, but bring him out.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh.
And then they're all happy with you.
Oh, yeah, they're all taking pictures, but there's this one cop that was afraid of me. He would not come near. He had a huge phobia of clowns.
But you gave him something different. I mean, they see so much, Trenton can be pretty rough.
Man. Yeah. We had a still photographer.
Oh, yeah. It was, one of them even was like, hey, we got a body down at the station right now. If you need a body, we can bring it. I'm like,
so they're into it.
Yeah, I'm like,
against the law.
I don't know if he was joking or not.
Maybe not.
Like, of course, like the one I was really known for back in, especially college, was Barney Fife. Because especially growing up in the South.
Andy? How do you?
Well, Andy, down here in Mayberry, someone comes in there, this little clown guy, and I'm like, I gotta nip him in the bud. Yep.
Say this, Andy, I shot myself in the foot again. What can I take?
Andy, I shot myself in the foot.
That's something
again.
he would really do.
Yeah. What else we got from back in that day?
Oh gosh, I'm like, I can do so many cartoon characters. It's
Skipper?
Skipper? No, I can't do Skipper. No,
George Jetson?
Yeah, no, but he's Fred. Yeah, fine. Yeah, man. You have Dino there for like, whoa, Scoob.
That's perfect.
We gotta get out of here. Yeah, this is extremely scary.
God, you can parrot anything. I mean, how do you do that? You have a natural talent? I
don't know. It's just something I can do.
That sounds just like
something you just hear the voice and you can channel it?
It's you have Lois. Yeah.
If you ever have a kid, you can entertain him for him.
I can entertain myself for hours. It's just like, you got pregnant. You're a genius. It's just like, they're all there. They're all just sitting up there. Like, my first one was Goofy. I learned how to do him in first grade because a girl handed me a note in class while we were having story time. It was a Mickey Mouse book, and she's like, you want to be my boyfriend? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, there's Goofy. And it's like, there we go. And that just snowballed from there. It's like, I think today is the 30th anniversary of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes, it is.
And that is actually the movie that got me into wanting to learn how to do voices, because that's when I learned Mel Blanc did all of those characters.
Right, he was still alive at that time, right?
Yeah. And so that I always credit that movie. That's like my favorite. And I'm actually probably the only person I know that can do the actual Roger Rabbit other than Charles Fleischer. So like, play Eddie. Yeah. Because everybody else says no, Charles Fleischer did it with his cheek, did the. So I taught myself how to do that as a kid. It was just like,
and Mel Blanc, it doesn't get the credit. I mean, people might know him, but
gosh,
he was like he was like God. He was there at the beginning. He's there at the end. He did all the characters. He was just too iconic.
He did everybody. It was just like,
I mean, he set the standard forever.
Oh,
basically,
God,
basically.
yes. I love him. It's just like...
You never met him, I guess. So
oh, I wish I had. I remember when he died, it just broke my heart.
No, people did realize, because a lot of people didn't realize that was the guy behind all these voices, even little kids. That was who did that.
Yeah.
That's all, folks.
Can you do any, like, even if it's kind of satire, can you do any famous actors? Anything?
Jeez.
Can you do Christopher Walken?
Well, you know, sometimes I feel like killing people. What are you going to do?
What are you
any South Park?
Hold on. If we're gonna come down and we're gonna.
I can go forever. What about Brando?
You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding, expecting me to do this.
Yeah, it's just
great.
I don't do as many famous people though. It's just like I don't know why.
You
it
can't
just
do Mickey from Rocky.
Come on, Rocky.
That's a hard one.
He's a very dangerous person.
Yeah.
Every accent I do just sounds the same. It sounds like a retarded person. Something with a bad accent.
Yeah. I've had fun trying to do like the Joker and stuff like that. I played the Joker on a web
Heath
series.
Ledger or the Jack Nicholson?
I'm more of like the Mark
Caesar?
Hamill. Caesar as well. Mark Hamill is the Joker from the animated series, which I think is the best.
The very dark.
Oh, yes, Betsy.
That's Mark Hamill.
That's Mark Hamill.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yes.
That could scare somebody. So if you go on a date with with those hot girls, you could entertain them then. You could be suave, you could be debonair, you could
probably just be happy they're somewhere warm.
Yeah. Just keep them warm.
What about, do you have a love life now? Is your life too much in flux?
I've been single for about 7 years actually.
Why? Because of work and
I've been more married to like it's especially in New York City. It's so hard to date because you're trying to sync up your schedule with some miles out. I mean I can't even date people in Brooklyn because that's like a 2-hour subway ride. Wow. It's just. It sucks. But
you have to take that job. You have to be ready to go, and you still have to have a day job.
That's how all New Yorkers are.
Yeah,
everybody has a schedule.
Everybody's doing their own thing, and it's just
even with all those people. Really?
Yeah, it's weird. It's just it was so much easier dating when I lived in Alabama. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, yeah, I would love to find someone.
Mm-hmm. But someone who's out there, maybe in town and everything. What kind of person do you want? Do they have to be a horror film fanatic? No.
I don't know. I know my type when I see it, but I can't really tell you what it is. It's just I just know it when I find it. I don't know. I've dated
Match.com
all types.
wouldn't work for you then. Especially if you put that picture on of art.
Yeah.
Maybe it would.
I actually tried to have that as like my Tinder profile picture. They're like, this is not you. And I'm like, no, it is me. It is me.
Tinder's denying it.
Yeah. I was like, oh, come on. But I mean, I have definitely heard from a lot of females. I've been talking to some.
Who love this whole
thing.
We'll
see how this convention runs.
I'm serious.
I have been talking to a few, and it's like, we'll see. But none of them live in New York.
Or do they want you?
That's what I don't know. I'm like, that's kind of my fear too. Is like I would like someone to like me for me, but you just never know. But I'm like, it's just fun because all the ones I'm hearing from, none of them live in New York City. I'm like, well, that's fun.
We're gonna do 2 quick plugs here. One is in Philadelphia, July 19th and the 21st, Liberty Massacre.
Oh, I can definitely make the 19th. 19th is the Thursday.
Thursday. That's at a different venue than the Truck. It's Time Mug, the coffee shop. But the 21st, we got.
I'm gonna go. You're gonna pay no attention to me, too. I don't know him.
No, yeah. We'll bring your tablecloth up on stage. Okay. But we got about 30 short films from around the world going on that day. You'll see a live taping of Average Superstar.
And they've gotten better and better. You really have.
No, by far, yeah. We got vendors, we got cosplayers, and after the award show, we're going to close the night off with a classic feature of the Monster Squad.
Nice. Yes, Wolfman's got nards.
So, yeah, it's a great time, and we'll have classic horror trailers playing in between, which
I'll be there. No one's paying me to be there, but I'll be there.
Yes, Adam will finally be anything
July 19th, I'm definitely there.
And for you, we look into this
world,
cool. And this plug the movie, yourself, or anything we need to know.
Definitely check out Terrifier. We've like recently released on Redbox, so you can find us there. Hopefully, we'll be releasing some more platforms later on, but you can find us on like most on-demand platforms as well. I'm also, you can find me on Instagram under David Howard Thornton. Same thing with Twitter. I think I'm David H. Thornton on there. Facebook as well. Also, I will start making appearances at conventions coming up. I know my first one is going to be at Mad Monster Party in Phoenix, Arizona, but I think my my new appearance manager is trying to get me into Chiller here in, I think, in October.
Jersey,
Yeah, so that's going to be awesome. So stay tuned for all those announcements.